And so what I was doing is I was like, no, we need to see revival right now. But actually, that's kind of quite arrogant, because Jesus, for example, he waited 30 years until he stepped into his ministry. And so there's this quiet revival that's going on in the world, and it's going on in the UK. And there's actually been secular newspapers that have said, look, the church attendance skyrocketed with young people. I don't know if you've seen that article. I think it was by the Bible Society. And it's really encouraging. But I believe we're in a season right now of like preparation, and it's stepping into it. There's this quiet revival. It's going to get bigger. But God's inviting us right now to prepare ourselves for what he wants to do. And so it's a season of getting ready and being prepared for revival. And that's not getting ready and just preparation. It sounds like, oh, we can put our feet back, God's not quite ready yet. No, it's not that. It's not a passive thing. He's actually waiting for us to get ready, actually. And so the way we get ready and prepared for what God's doing in this hour is by repenting and believing. Two things: repent and believe. And so what I was doing is I was like, no, we need to see revival right now. But actually, that's kind of quite arrogant, because Jesus, for example, he waited 30 years until he stepped into his ministry. This is someone that's perfect, bearing in mind. So Jesus, for his first 30 years of his life, he didn't do any miracles. And then for the last 3 years, he did. There might be question marks, like, why? But if you remember at the wedding of Cana, what did Jesus say when his mum was like, turn this, they need more wine? Jesus said, my time is not yet come. So Jesus was always thinking about timing. And timing is a real thing. I don't think that Joseph was in prison for 10 years by accident. There's something called timing. And God knows who's aligned at what time in history. And it says in the Bible that God strategically sent down Jesus at precisely the right moment in history. And every single person, all of us, are alive for such a time as this. And it's what he's trying to do with the raising up of this army is he's trying to get us basically, because wouldn't it be cool, instead of just being like, right, that guy is prepared right now, let's use him. And that's happened in the past, by the way, and everyone's looked to like one man and like, oh, isn't this amazing? And you get that, for example, with like Billy Graham. And I know that's fantastic. Sometimes people can like look to a man almost more than they look to who the man's talking about. But I think in this hour, God's doing something different, where he's actually raising up the whole church, where it's not about one or two people, it's about collectively the church being raised up. So God's like, no, we want them all to be working together now to do what we're doing in the last days.